Assalamu alaikum, I'm Sadiqa Shabazz and welcome back to M.G.T Style. If this is your first time here, welcome, sit back, this is the place for you. We're going to politic tonight. We're going to politic on sewing mastery. My 11 tips to sewing mastery. Yes, we have to talk about it. Yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. We must talk about this and build on this, okay? So here we go. I'm going to look off to the side here because I have a couple of notes and I don't want to miss anything. I want to give you all this information so you and I can be successful, okay? Here we go. You and I have to be willing and ready to create designs that appreciates and reflects Almighty God, because He gave us this talent, so why not reflect Him, correct? So therefore we want to appreciate Him and show Him and appreciate that He gave us this talent. I'm going to reflect you. Number 2, approach this subject like a master. The Honorable Mrs. Farrakhan teaches us that when you are approached with a subject, you're not inferior to the subject. God is in you. So you approach this subject like a master, like the master that you are. Not arrogant, like you know it all and you really don't know it. You know what I mean? You want to approach it, you focus, you have attention on it, you're willing to learn and absorb the information. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I take from approaching the subject like a master. Number 3, challenge and upgrade your skill set. We must challenge ourselves. There's a lot to learn. So when you're learning this subject, you don't want to stay at a particular level. Oh, I just sew sweaters. That's all I do. A lot of people are going to come to you and they're always going to ask, even though you have a client, you sewing a sweater for her. She is going to eventually come to you and say, oh, do you know how to sew a pair of pants to compliment the sweater that you're creating for me? And you don't always want to say no, you know, because there's people that's going to come to you and ask for your services. So you always want to enhance your skill set to the next level. Also, take advantage of the sew-alongs. Yes, it's very useful. When I was going through my journey, and I'm still going through my journey, I used to get onto YouTube, M.G.T, and she had a sewing tutorial making a hoodie sweater. So I would get onto M.G.T, and I was like, oh, okay, how do you do that? And that's how you do it? And that was the only modest thing that was on there. So you know, I really took advantage of that, because when I was going through the process, as I am going through the process still, I noticed that there was no modesty like for the M.G.T. I needed an M.G.T sew along, and that wasn't out at that time, right? So I was like, oh my goodness, I need something to connect to, because everything, all of the platforms that was going on, they only had outfits that was immodest. The neckline was plunging neckline, it was a V neckline, and I was like, oh my goodness, like how do I bring up or raise the neckline? And that led me to learning how to create the proper fit. I had to buy other books and resources so I can really create and have the garments that represent the teachings of Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as we're taught to be modest and bring up the neckline. And you know, it's certain areas of the garment that is unlike this world. Modesty of the nation is totally different from the modesty of the world. So the people of the world who are creating these sew-alongs, which is very difficult for me to connect. You understand? So I think that's very important as well. Whomever is having sew-alongs and you're interested in the garments, the outfits that they're creating, please take advantage of the sew-alongs. It's a good training, okay? Another thing, deliberate practice. Deliberate practice is number 5. What is deliberate practice? One may be thinking, right? Deliberate practice is not like regular practice. Regular practice is like that mindless practice. You're just going through the repetition stages, and you really are not connecting or focusing as to what the subject really is, right? You're just going through the process. So deliberate practice requires focus and attention to conduct a specific goal. You have a specific goal in mind. Like for instance, people who play basketball, professional basketball players or football players, they practice a certain way to enhance their performance. You understand? So sewing is the same way. For an example, if I'm sewing a buttonhole, right, by hand, not by the machine, by hand, right? So they say that it takes 100 buttonholes by the hand to really perfect the technique. Another thing, if I'm sewing zippers for the first time, when you're sewing a zipper for the first time, you know the lines are going to be wiggly. It's not going to be straight, and then you're going to have to learn how to straighten it. You know, it's very technical. So when you learning how to create buttonholes or zippers, you actually have to have several templates and go through the several templates and really create or enhance the performance of your skill set. Okay, so number 6, learn to sew everything. You really don't want to limit yourself to just sewing one thing. You want to be able to sew everything and then narrow in on one specific discipline that you would like to specialize in. For an example, if you learn to sew everything, right? You may say, you know, I'm going to specialize in trouser making or shirt making. Yeah, that's cool. Because people need shirts. People go to tailoring shops or tailoring houses and they get tailor-made shirts, right? Or tailor-made trousers. So those are really good specific areas if you want to stay in, or bridal wear. They're highly skilled, just like shirt makers and trouser makers are highly skilled disciplines. If that's what you would like to go into, excellent. And usually those disciplines, those individuals, they know how to sew everything. They just narrowed in on one specific discipline and they just specialize in that area of expertise, which is cool as well. But you want to learn how to sew everything and then narrow in as to what you would like to specialize in. I have a specialization as well, a specialized area as well, but I'm not going to tell you about that as of yet because I'm still developing it. I'll tell you, y'all find out at another point in time. Also, do not sew when you're angry. Do not sew when you're sleepy at all neither, because when you're sleepy and angry, the focus is off, and sewing demands focus. Believe me when I tell you, if you're sleepy or angry, you're going to be making careless mistakes. And who wants to make careless mistakes on a big project or a small project, right? It's useless. It's like, oh my goodness, I'm putting the buttonholes on the wrong side. I'm putting the zipper on the wrong side. I'm putting the facing on the right side of the fabric. You know, you really don't want to make those kind of mistakes. It just will further frustrate you. And sewing will frustrate you. That is really all a part of the process as well. Number 8. Don't rush the process. I know. You just want to just get through the whole entire process and so you can just wear your outfit or finally see what the outfit is going to look like. No. Sewing is a slow, patient process. It's like fishing, you know, it's like chess. You sitting there, you're thinking the whole time before you make your move. That's how sewing is. So you really want to take your time because you don't want to make a whole lot of unnecessary errors, okay? So, number 9, mistakes are necessary. I don't want you to beat yourself up. Oh man, I didn't do this correctly, it's still wrong. It's all a part of the learning process. We've all been there. We're still going there. I'm still making mistakes. Yes, it's a part of the learning process. The mind is saying, oh, you didn't understand what was going on the first time. So now you're going to have to repeat this area again. And when you make the mistake, the brain is capturing that error, and then it makes a memory out of it. And then when you approach that same error, you're like, oh yeah, remember, I'm not going to do that again. Let me tighten it up, or let me loosen it up, or let me correct it, or let me use this technique instead of that technique. I don't want to go through the whole process again, but mistakes are necessary. That's how you learn in sewing. So it's all necessary, okay? Also, number 10, sew with a muslin. Yes, I'm going to say that again. Sew with a muslin, or as they say, a wearable muslin. So what is a wearable muslin? Okay, so a wearable muslin is an inexpensive fabric, but it mirrors the nature or the texture of the fashion fabric that you really want to make the outfit in. So you make all of your mistakes in your trial area in the laboratory stage of the wearable muslin. So once you finally have the final product, you learned a lot of lessons when you created this outfit as a run through, yet you can wear it as well. So that's what that means, a wearable muslin. That's cool. As well as, what if you have a project that you never analyzed the pattern, right? You never ran through the pattern. You never practiced the pattern, the techniques, right? So you really want to go through an initial stage before you get to the fashion fabric and develop the outcome of the whole entire garment. So you really want to go through a couple of muslins and get the fit correct before you go into the fashion fabric, and you have to do a whole lot of alterations, unnecessary alterations that could have been taken care of in the fabric stage, in the muslin stage. Okay, so also 11, learn to sew the perfect fit. What do I mean by learn to sew the perfect fit? When you get a pattern and you take it out of the envelope and you open it up and you analyze it, and then you cut all the pieces out, and then you lay all the pieces on your fashion fabric, and then you cut all the pieces out from there, and then you assemble all the pieces, and then you put it on, or you put it on your client, and then you find out it doesn't fit. The arm is too wide, the shoulder sleeve is down here or too close up here, there's extra fabric in this area, the armhole is too low or too high, right? So what happens? And also the collar is, your neck is swimming in the collar. It's a whole lot of errors, right? Why? Because commercial patterns are not meant to be the all in all. Commercial patterns are templates. They are meant to be altered. Yes, they're meant to be altered. That's why they don't fit anybody. It's standard sizes in the pattern envelope. So that's why we have to alter the pattern based on our measurements. And that is why muslins are necessary. So you have a pattern, right? You use your measurements, you alter the pattern based on the measurements, and then you still have to go through the muslin stage, transferring all the information onto the muslin, then trying on the muslin. And then some people may say, oh, I don't want to do all of that. I don't want to do all of that. I just want to cut it out and just put it onto the fashion fabric, and then put it on and then tweak it. Tweak. Okay, so if you're doing all these tweakings, right, you will alter the composition of the garment. Yes, you will. Because if you tweak it in this area, you're pulling from other areas. You may be pulling from the armhole seam. You may be pulling from the shoulder seam. You may be pulling slightly from a fourth from the back seam. So when you tweak here, you think it's innocent. Oh, I'm just tweaking. Oh no, you're pulling from other areas as well, believe it or not. So what if you just have more than one tweak? Tweak. So when the person put it on, or you put it on, the balance is off. All of that could have been taken care of in the muslin stage, the laboratory stage, the run through, and then the customer or yourself tries on. That's why there's in tailoring houses and bridal shops, they have a system. There's try-ons. There's 3 to 4 to 5 try-ons because they're getting the fit correct. Every stage, the fit is all about the fit. If you cut out the fabric from the pattern envelope and you put it on, it doesn't fit, and then it frustrates you and it frustrates the customer, and then the customer's like, it's just that you don't want someone to buy a product from you and they say, I just keep it in my closet. They don't tell you that. They tell other people that, oh, she made something for me and I just keep it in my closet because it just doesn't fit. See, you want to take care of that. Fit is another science in its own orbit. It's another science that needs to be approached with full force and focus and attention. Anybody can put together 2 pieces of fabric, but actually diving into the science of it all, fit is a necessary area to gain full mastery over, because everybody's body is totally different. That's how God created us. So we have to master different shapes and sizes and create the perfect fit for everybody. For an example, a sister who's a professional swimmer, right? She may have a large upper back. So if you create something for someone who's a swimmer or a large back area, you have to go into that pattern, cut the pattern, open up the pattern, and you have to place fabric in the pattern, have her try it on, see if it fits, measure. There's a lot that you have to do. And even if she tries on the muslin, you still have to pull the muslin apart and then correct it in the pattern stage. So there's different areas in which we need to give attention to fit. Fit is a science in itself, as they always say, and you will never exhaust the knowledge of fit. It's always a continual process because the body is always changing. As well as, I'm giving another example, a man who is a football player, large, broad shoulders, back, as well as chest area and arms. You measuring that whole body, athletic body. So he has to try on a muslin, and you have to get the fit correct. If it's too tight, you'll see pull lines. We'll get into that also about the achieving the perfect fit. There are pull lines. There are areas in the fabric that will teach you, oh, if it's pulling from this area, it's coming from left side, right side. You understand what I'm saying? So I know it seems a little bit complicated and overwhelming, but there is a science to the madness, okay? So that leads me to the next subject of books. Yes, books. Sewing books are so imperative in this journey. Okay, yes, we have resources, we have internet programs, we have tutorials, we have sew-alongs, but there's nothing like an old-fashioned book. Okay, so this book here, I really love this book because it's a great resource when you're studying fabrics and fabric textures and how to care for fabrics, how to properly maintain and pre-shrink fabrics. And all fabrics are not created the same. Every fabric has a different nature and quality, and they have to be understood, okay? And sewing one particular fabric is totally different from sewing another fabric. So this book teaches you how to approach each fabric differently in respects to every fabric in its own category, okay? So we have this book here by Sandra Betzina, All New Fabric Savvy, How to Choose and Use Fabrics, a Quick Reference Guide. I love this book. I'm not getting paid to promote any of these books. My reward is with Almighty God Allah. I just want my brothers and sisters to get this information without having to go through unnecessary avenues, okay? I cut all that out for you, all of you, so you would just get straight to the source, okay? Straight to business and get exactly what you need without going through any unnecessary areas, okay? That will further frustrate you, okay? So this is a great resource here. You can check it out on the internet. You can probably go to the bookstore, look through it, see if you really like it, and you purchase it, because this is a very good resource book for fabrics, okay? So the next one that we have here is Sewing Basics. I was gifted this book from a sister who is a master seamstress. She gave me this book a long time ago, and I really appreciate this book. So if you're new to sewing, you're trying to learn the basics or brush up on the basics of sewing, this is a very good book as well, okay? So my next book here is The Complete Photo Guide to Perfect Fitting by Sarah Veblen. You want to check this book out. As I said, this is a science in itself, okay? So you really want to learn the perfect fit. The worst thing is that when a customer comes to you and you try on the garment, they try on the garment, or you try on the garment, it just does not fit. It's not flattering. It's not flattering, and you're getting upset and the customer getting upset. So you want to cut through all the frustration and just get to the point, know how to solve the problem. Just like I said, sewing is like chess. It's all mental, and then you have to be able to move your pieces accordingly. So the perfect fit, everybody's body is different. You want to master this area and achieve the perfect fit, because it's flattering. It's a flattering when you try on your suit or your jacket or your garment and it fits you. Like it was made for you. Like nobody else can wear it but you, your body type, because you're so unique. You understand? So I think this is very imperative that we get these books or go online and just at least try to check out the books and see how well it goes along in your library. Okay? So if you enjoyed this video, please press the subscribe button, the like button, the love button. Share this video if I sparked anything in you by the grace of Allah. And in the next video, I see you in the next video. And may Allah continue to bless each and every one of us with a light of understanding and increasing our knowledge in becoming masters of this sewing discipline. Until then, assalamu alaikum.